Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. I hope your day is beautiful over here in California. It's like today the sun is shining, but inside the house, you would think that it's chilly. I don't know why such a contrast exists. I want to get into the subjects rather, of the Igbo ceremony and something that is gaining ground in Nigeria, the false notion that the Igbo people have money, that the Igbo people are rich. I think it deserves my attention. And hopefully by the time I would end this talk, if I still have the proper, if my talk is properly aligned, I will still talk about why I want to discuss it. Two persons that I have followed for some time, Dele Farotimi, Lagos-based lawyer, and Aisha Yesufu, have had discussions that call for my intervention, and I want to make clear before I proceed, I have not been able to find any evidence, to find any proof that these two individuals, Dele Farotimi and Aisha Yesufu, hate Igbo people. I've not seen such proof. They have not said anything. They have not done anything. They have not betrayed any trace that somebody could interpret as hatred against the Igbo people. But I'm going to use discussions they have had on video to get into a subject that is connected to anti-Semitism and Igbophobia, or Igbophobia against the Igbo people. They themselves are completely innocent. I want to keep on stressing. They have not shown any evidence that they hate Igbos. Rather, we have seen evidence that they would prefer the Nigerian people to treat the Igbo people fairly. I'll start from Dele Farotimi. When the Nigerian people decided to protest against extreme hunger ravaging the country, Farotimi rose in defense of the Igbo people, because some people were wondering why the Igbos were not protesting against the government. Farotimi explained that the Igbo people are not protesting because the Igbo people knew that Nigeria would fail and learn before others to cope without relying on government. I thought about this for a very long time, and I think it deserved a response. Dele, you are my learned colleague. The Igbo people did not make that choice. History did not say that the Igbo people saw that Nigeria would become dysfunctional and chose not to rely on government. The Igbos were pushed out. Prior to 1966, majority of the workers you find in the Nigerian postal services, they call it post and telegraph, were Igbos. The train drivers were the Igbos. The Yorubas did not really want to work outside their region. I mean, I'm talking about the civil service now. The Igbos went to the north to provide those services that others either could not do or would not do. And that's one of the reasons why what happened. I feel that this explanation is necessary to put history straight. The Igbos did not, because one of the things that Farotimi mentioned was that Igbos did not want to work in the civil service. They preferred to start businesses. No, Igbos were pushed into street side trading. It is important to get this right because I believe that before Nigeria would move forward, Nigeria will have to look at history. Look at how it treated the Igbo people and make amends. So it's important to explain why the Igbo people found themselves street side traders. They did not go into street trading because that's what they wanted to do. They were the officer corps in the Nigerian army before 1966. They were majority of the officer corps. They drove the trains. They ran the postal services. They were in charge of the water board that the British established. I'm not saying that they were the only Nigerians in those areas, but they were majority. And then those that did not have the requisite Western education went into buying and selling. But what forced majority into buying and selling was what I explained. Nigerians pushed them away from that. Nigerians pushed them away from guaranteed employment. Let's put it like that. Civil service. Nigerians said, we must have quotas everywhere. There was a time there were only 2 Igbo states out of 19. So that was why you don't find the Igbos in guaranteed employment. That aside, we will move on to Aisha Yesufu. Again, like Dele Farotimi, Aisha Yesufu has defended Igbos. She has not betrayed any evidence that she could be anti-Semitic or Igbophobic against the Igbos. But then again, there was something she said on video that deserves a response from me for the sake of history, for the sake of knowledge. She said that some Nigerians say that because the Igbos are rich, because the Igbos control the economy, that the Igbos will not be trusted with political power as well. And she went on to sort of indicate that she believed that the Igbos have money. For God's sake, Igbos don't have money. The notion that the Igbos have money is coming from the same source. From the same source that produced the falsehood, the anti-Semitic falsehood, that if you jingle coins near the ears of a dead Igbo person, that Igbo person will get up. It came from pure anti-Semitism. Igbos don't have money. The Igbos are the least wealthy group in Nigeria. Wealth would come with security. The Yoruba people, 99% of their wealth is concentrated in Yoruba land, secure forever. The Hausa Fulani people, most of their investments are in Kano and Kaduna. The Igbo people, majority of what they have gotten from toiling are located outside Igbo land. Unfriendly governments have come up in Abuja, demolished billions of naira worth of Igbo property. So the Igbos don't have money. I will now explain why I'm doing all this. And I'll start from the most important reason why I'm doing this. I tend to get frustrated with the Igbo people sometimes because the truth must be said, the present crop of Igbos are nihilistic. They have no regards for those important things that make them who they are. They have no regard for, they don't see danger and avoid it. They have no regard for their identity. But I know why these things are. This group has suffered genocide probably longer than any other group in history. This group has suffered systematic persecution for close to 200 years. And nobody who has some kind of strength to intervene have bothered to intervene. So, when all that a group has known is that we are persecuting you because you are evil, at a stage they begin to see themselves the way they were described. This morning I was talking to an Igbo who has a master's degree in anthropology from an Australian university. We talked about cannibalism in cultures. The Igbo culture is the least culture that will support cannibalism because the Igbos are almost vegetarians. The meat part of the Igbo diet is less than 5%. But if the Igbos go to books written by their enemies, colonial authorities, Igbo writers will be the first people to write it. Because the way they were colonized, they were decultured. The colonialists took them away from Omedana, the Igbo religion and culture, placed them inside the colonial religion and culture. So they turned against themselves. When they write that they did wrong things, they think that they were harming their ancestors, not themselves. But even though they are nihilistic, they are my people. Today they are bent on self-destruction. That is why they go about destroying their identity. But they don't end today. The present generation of Igbos could not be helping matters. But what about the future generations? And what about the ancestors? That is why I'm doing some of the things I'm doing. If I say that I should give up, after all, I'm already middle-aged. I don't think that I would spend as much time in the future as I've spent in the past. But what about when I reincarnate? What if I reincarnate? If I decide to stop working because I've looked at the future, I'm not going to spend as much time as I've spent in the past. So what if I say I should leave them to their fate? What if I reincarnate in a horrible, when they are in a much more pitiable condition? That is why I'm doing what I'm doing. So that there will be records. So that when those that will not be nihilistic, those that will not start jumping up and down when they see false information like that Igalas are related to the Igbos and start jumping up. When those ones come and know that the Gala is the Gala, the Yoruba is the Yoruba, the Igbo is the Igbo, they are completely different ethnic groups. When those people come, they will have the tools to work with. Because a lot of people don't understand things unless those things are spelled clearly. I'm reiterating again, Dele Farotimi Aisha Yesufu, what they have done so far is indicate that they would prefer that Nigeria treats Igbos better. They have not been enemies, they have not shown traces of hostility. But I only used what they said without meaning any harm to bring enlightenment. Ladies and gentlemen, have a very beautiful day. Thank you.